Hey guys, welcome to another installation video. So as you saw from my previous video, I've installed the carbon fiber prop shaft, half shaft, or not prop shaft or drive shaft, whichever you want to call it. Very happy with it. The car is beautiful. Loving it. So because everything checks out, there's no vibrations, it's a good checkpoint. Now I'll install the half shafts and the UPR adjustable camber arms because they're just machined and better and stiffer. Steeda Vertical links, again zero flex, I want that stiffness. And then the UPR adjustable toe links as well, because the reason why I'm getting these adjustable arms and toe links is because the alignment shops around me are idiots and they couldn't dial it in. So with this, hopefully they'll be able to sort that out. And DSS 800 HP half shafts, again because the car is supercharged, so I need to get that rectified. So with these host of mods, everything beyond the gearbox's driveline should be able to handle a lot of abuse. Just to give you guys a rundown on other mods that I've got the BMR CB762 bracing, I've got Steeda IRS alignment bushings, Steeda differential bushings, I'm running on Ford Racing shocks and Steeda linear ultralight springs on the rear. And yeah, I think that's about it on the rear. So this is the big set of mods which will get me going and moving. I'll let you guys know that I don't already suffer from wheel hop, so this is just gonna absolutely make sure that doesn't happen, especially because I've put on some 305s on the rear as well now. So yeah, so the tools that you'll need are coming next. This is pretty much everything, absolutely everything I used for my install. So I'm going to start off with a good quality torque wrench, half inch, which goes up to 300 Newton meters or up to, I think it's 220 foot-pounds. You will need that, trust me. You'll also need a smaller torque wrench if you have it. I've got one here which runs from about 5 foot-pounds to 45 foot-pounds. Make sure they're calibrated or you're satisfied with them. You will need a couple of hammers, so rubber mallet and a steel claw hammer. So these are used in case your brake discs are jammed on there and you don't really want to hit it directly with the metal one. So if it doesn't come loose with a rubber one, you have to hit it with a bit more of a bang. So you put a piece of wood to sort of deaden the blow. So that's that. WD-40 also comes in handy, so I'm going to put that here because that helps penetrate the rust. After that, probably one of the most important things, 32mm deep 6-sided half-inch impact socket. And if you want to make your life easy, have an impact gun as well. Because it takes all the work out of taking those spindle nuts off from the existing half shaft. You will also need, where is it gone? You will also need some brake cleaner just to clean some stuff up because you are working in that area. Something to hold the brake caliper, I just use standard wire, cable ties will do. Then we have, again, so this is something that helps me, it's an electrical ratchet 3/8, just to take some of the bolts off a bit more quickly, but again that's an optional. But what I also have is obviously half-inch ratchet, 3/8 ratchet, and breaker bar, because some of them bolts were on there real tight, and thanks to that blue thread locker, you need to break them loose with this. I don't personally enjoy using this unless I really have to, so I only really used it on the 32mm spindle nut. Beyond that,
you will need a large pry bar to take the half shafts out. Slightly larger, this is an old torque wrench which is not calibrated, but as you can see, it's smaller than the other, and it's got the ratcheting system in it, so the bolts which are some of the bolts which are a bit too hard to move, using this ratchet I use this this wrench for. So that's that. Came in handy actually for removing the toe link to knuckle bolt. They're on real tight, so yeah, just bear that in mind. Beyond that, it's just general extensions. So a couple of extensions that you might need, always handy. So this I put on here, and then I just gave it a quick tap with the hammer just to make sure that the half shafts splines are loosened from the hub for the rear wheel, and that just makes taking the knuckle off a lot easier. I also had some 3-jaw pullers in place, but I didn't need them, so that's my recommendation. And another one as well, just in case. To be honest, I only really use this one for taking off my wheel lug nuts, but again, it's there. Everything I've used I'm putting up on here. I've got 2 different types of Loctite. So I've got the liquid type, through thread locker, and then I really like this actually, the Prick Strict, 0 waste, really good. So I recommend this, but in some places, you know, it's easier to just put that on like inside of a nut or whatever. So yeah, those 2. You will also need a brake caliper turning tool. So when you take brake caliper off, you won't be able to put it on. You have to spin it back so the piston goes back and allows you to put it on. So I have this tool. You could probably actually just use some long nose needle pliers like vertically and spin it, but this is just a neater way to do it. Pink marker pen, because every time I torque something I like to mark it, then I know it's done. So that comes in very handy. Sharpie for when I'm doing the disassembly and I'm putting everything in my freezer bag, so I label them. So these are all the resealable bags. You can see wheel lug nuts. So everything I take off of a component, I put it in freezer bags. Locking nut key for your wheel. Wrap some tape around it so it doesn't damage the wheel. Another key for your lug nuts, again some tape around that so it doesn't damage, and the rest is just spanners. So 18mm spanner, 19mm spanner, 3/8 extension, pop that here. This is a 8mm bit, 10mm bit, so I think 8mm for the speed sensor, 10mm for the e-brake, 15mm, we will use that quite a bit, 14mm, 18mm, 21mm, 1/2 inch to 3/8, because some of my sockets are 3/8, so just a reducer. And then the other way around as well, 3/8 to 1/2 inch. 22mm, 21mm deep socket, another 22mm socket impact, because it's 6-sided. I like 6-sided as opposed to 12-sided. Less chance of slip and, you know, rounding the heads. Then I've got a deep, this is 14, deep 15. See these? Turn this around a bit. Deep 18, deep 21, deep 19, and a 22mm spanner. Some cable ties. I'm just going to put one cable tie here just for demonstration purposes. and then obviously side snips for when you want to loosen it up. Some grease for the brake pads, just to grease them up, why not, whilst you're there. Some scrubbing stuff for cleaning up the hub assembly and brake disc before you put those back on. And that's about it really. Yeah, that's all you'll need. Half shafts, work in progress, toe links, adjustable camber arms, and vertical links. So I'm just going to get them all done in one go. Hope you guys enjoyed the drive shaft install video. So let's get to it. Car's up in the air. I've moved it into the middle, so it gives me a bit more space to work in. I'll show you guys. There you go. So I can do both sides without moving the car, and lift coming in very, very handy. So yeah, let's get to it. Time to remove the spindle nuts. That's a 32mm deep socket. Ooh. So we've got the brake caliper out of the way. I'm just using some ordinary wire to hold it in place for now. Next thing we've got to do is take this off, which is the e-brake, and then we've got to take the speed sensor off as well. So we'll get to doing that. thing, so I tried using the rubber mallet. I thought maybe it's not stuck on that hard. It was. So a plank of wood all the way around. Leave a little bit on it. You don't want it flying out. So got the brake rope loose. Excellent. You see the bit of WD-40 helped. And we're just gonna give it all a wipe clean. There we go. You can see. Okay. Then now we can remove the e-brake bracket here and the speedometer nut as well. So gonna get some. Let me show you guys. We've got one, and then we've got two. So those are what we're gonna need to take off. The speed sensor is 8mm. E-brake is 10mm. And just as a recap, spindle is 32mm. So that's 32mm. And your brake calipers are 18mm. So there we go. So, where are we? We've got the caliper off. We've got the e-brake bracket off. We've got the speed sensor off. Speed sensor, e-brake bracket. And next we need to, I think, prop this up. So let's do what we gotta do. So before I go any further, I need to support the suspension to curb height before I can take the vertical link, toe links and camber arm sector and loosen them up. But one thing I want to do is take this shield off just so I have better access. So that's the gun. Just wanted to show you guys what I do in terms of organization. So I clean a bit of an area up, and then I tend to label everything. So brake shoe bolts 8mm. It just makes life easier, you know. Brake caliper bolts 18mm. E-brake 10mm. You know, speed sensor bolt. It just makes life a lot easier when you need anything and you know that everything is going to go back where it's supposed to, and it's all laid out in a neat way. So I'm just going to support the suspension using the trolley jack. I might need to lower the car, but that's not an issue. I just need to be careful that I don't jack it up too much and it tips at the front. So that's the only thing we got to do now. So I'm not going to support it because I'm in an awkward place where my jack doesn't reach the bottom, and a telescopic or a transmission jack is a bit too high to get underneath it. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle, but it's not an issue. There's different ways of doing this, and I've seen a couple of ways where they haven't supported the suspension. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So it is what it is, and it should be okay really. For now, I think when the time comes to tighten the bolts and put the new hardware on, that's when you really need to make sure it's at curb height, and that's not an issue because I can then do that because I can lower the car much lower and just tighten everything to spec. Okay. Now we need to remove the toe links spindle bolt. These are toe links here. This is our toe link. I will be replacing this, so I'm just gonna for now just take this off and take it from there. Okay, I think that looks like an 18 mil. So. Oh, that was a bit of an effort, but it's done. Right, now we're going to do the vertical link. $15 mil for the top vertical link bolt. There we go. Now we're going to remove the lower control arm bolt. That's 21 mil. Right, lastly, camber arm bolt, which is here. So for that, we need a spanner for this side and a socket for that side. So 18 mil. $15 mil. So that's everything. Now we just need to remove this. Oh, there we go. Like magic. Excellent. Whew. So that's our half shaft. So remember at the beginning when things were still connected, I gave it a few blows and it just loosened the spindles. I'm just gonna have a little closer look here. Yeah, spindles all look good. There's no damage or anything. These can apparently cause a real clunk. Mine seem to be okay. They're not damaged. Yeah. But okay, whatever. Now we need to get the half shaft out. Okay. So for that, I'm gonna have to raise the car. So before I go any further, turn this around. Before I go any further, it's quite messy for me. I like things to be nice and organized. We've reached a critical stage where pretty much all of the disassembly is complete. So I just want to do a quick tidy up, make sure I have a clean work environment, get my pry bar, get something under the diff, and make sure that any oil that does come out, I capture it in the drain pan because I don't really want to stain my floor, and just generally work in a clean environment. I don't really need the jack right now, so let's see what's going on. I wanted to do this bit live because everyone seems to say it just pops out, but I don't think so. So
just want to show you guys the sort of struggle you might face. So Ford have deliberately left a lip on the diff, which is this bit here. So what you want to do is get this in there. See, it's never that easy. So this doesn't work. I'm gonna have to get another pry bar. Well, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Nope. Let's try a smaller one. There we go. Actually, that was pretty easy. Come to think of it. Oh, there we go, the diff oil. Just a couple of drops. There we are. That was not bad at all. Let's hope the C-clip is still with it. Brilliant. And the C-clip is in there as well. Yes. Good deal. Whew. There it is. That's the stock half shaft. Just gonna do a little comparison with the DSS half shaft. There you go. Seems slightly longer. Why is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's the difference. To be honest, thickness-wise, it's about the same. Maybe slightly. Maybe it's a solid one, but yeah, this is the difference. Nearly there. Now I've just got to take off the camber arms. I've got the vertical link off, and I've got to take the toe link off, and I've got to match the sizes with the UPR ones, etc., and then we're good to go. So this is all extra now, really. I need to remove this toe link because I'm changing that, and I need to get rid of this camber arm as well because I'm changing that. Before I do that, I'm just going to make some marks on the bolts just so I can get it close to what it was before I did all this work. So I'm just going to grab a pink pen. So that's 21 mil here. On the other side, but obviously the deep sockets are too thick, so we're going to go for the slimmer ones. Oh, it has to be a deep. Okay. So what we'll do Piece of crap, rubbish. So the reason I can't use a deep socket is because I've got the BMR bracing. That would then get in the way, so I have to do it this way. But you should be able to use a deep socket without any problems. Oh, that's pretty much close, so that's fine. Just use it as is. Vertical links are vertical links. Nothing much we can do. With these, we do need to change. So they go on like so. And to be honest, they're enough exactly. Up next, I'm just gonna hang the toe links where they gotta go. So this end goes in the back bit, square washer. That goes there. That can hang there. Okay. Up next, I'm just gonna put this in place. I've had a bit of a lunch break. Time to tighten these bolts up, really. So according to the instructions that I've got from UPR, for the camber arm, the bolt right over there is 85 foot-pounds. So yeah, that's 85 foot-pounds. Just gonna take this off with black and blue Loctite. Good to go. Now the toe link, so this has got the two square washers obviously, and it's 129 foot-pounds. So that's our camber and toe links done. Now we need to put the knuckle and everything else on and take it from there, really. Basically reverse the steps. We've got the knuckle on there, it's not on fully. I've just done that, what size bolt is it? It's the 21mm bolt through this arm just to sort of hold it in place. This is in. As I tighten it, obviously it should pull it into place. Now I just got to do the vertical link and the toe link bolts as well, and then we're getting somewhere. And camber arm bolts. So yeah, let's keep going. So the vertical link is finally on. I think everybody knows this is a pain in the backside to do. But what people tend to do is, this worked for them but it didn't work for me, is they do the top bolt first and then line the bottom one. I tried doing that, it didn't work. I do have a lot of IRS bracing going on, differential bushings, etc, etc, so a lot of stuff. So for me, I lined up my bottom one first, and then I didn't have a screw in my top one, and then I slowly moved the wrench up, the jack up, and it caused these to slowly line up. But I did have to hammer the knuckle a little bit with a rubber mallet, so not with a solid hammer, just to sort of persuade this to fall in to that cone. And to be honest, it's worked really well, and it's likely what I'll do for my second side as well. So now I just gotta put the brake, well, I just gotta do the spindle nut, e-brake, blah blah blah, e-brake, speed sensor, brake cover, brake, and then we're pretty much there. So I'll put another time lapse on there for you guys to enjoy. Oh man, what a pain. Everything is done. We've just got to torque the spindle nut, 125 foot-pounds I believe. I'm just going to double check that. Yep, so 125 foot-pounds, but I need an extension. Right, so everything is done. A few extra steps which I'll go through later on, but now we've got to do the spindle nut. CJ Pony part says 125 foot-pounds. Ford recommend 98 foot-pounds and then 45 degrees. I guess it works out about the same. So I'm just going to go for 125 foot-pounds.
Oh. Right. So the install. The install, I followed CJ Pony parts, I followed LMR, I followed Ford Performance. I saw all of their 3 videos, and some of them missed some of the steps out. First of all, this is the big one really. The spindle nut for your half shafts, Ford recommend 98 foot-pounds followed by 45 degree turn. LMR did the same. Yes, it's part of the, recommending what the OEM does. CJ's did 125 foot-pounds, but if you go on Mustang 6G, the BMR techs have found that it's 150 foot-pounds and a 1/8 turn. So a 1/8 is 45 degrees. So huge variances in what you're gonna go for. I went for 150 foot-pounds. I didn't do the 1/8 turn. If I get issues or if it starts loosening, then I will. I've marked it with a pink pen, so I'll check it regularly. Fortunate that I have a lift, so I can do that very quickly, and I'll keep an eye on it. Apart from that, Steeda Vertical links, if you're installing those at the same time as doing all of these mods or the UPR mods, etc. My advice, or if you already have Steeda Vertical links on, my advice would be absolutely not do what the other videos are telling you, where you put in the lower control arm bolt, so toe link, so they tell you, I think, lower control arm bolt, toe link, and then the vertical, then the camber arm bolt. So they tell you to do them 1, 2, 3, and then torque them as you go, and then do the vertical link. Don't do that. Don't do that. So what I did was I first put the vertical link, I first put the toe link bolt in, and then I put the vertical link bolts in. I didn't tighten anything. Then the lower and then the camber, and just hand tightened them to get them started. And then you're not gonna have any issues tightening those bolts up, getting them to line up, whatever. And then you torque them in the order that Ford recommend or whatever, and you'll be okay. The first side, the right side that I did, everything went so smooth. Everything went so smooth. The half shafts came out, the spindles, the half shafts came off the wheel bearing easy. Everything just went beautifully. I was like, you know what, this is gonna be great. I was recording the video and it was brilliant. But then assembling it, and then when I got to those vertical links, I shouldn't have followed that. So that's my advice. If you've got Steeda Vertical links and you're planning on doing this mod, don't tighten all the bolts up on your knuckle and then do the Steeda Vertical links, because it's a pain. It is a pain. I got it done in the end, but the easiest way to do it is just thread the bolts in lightly, keep that flex in your knuckle because your bolts are tight, and put the vertical in and then start tightening everything, and it's easy, so easy. Taking the half shafts out, again, with a lift, I'm fortunate, it was very easy, they just pop right out. Yeah, to be honest, when I wasn't faffing around with the camera trying to record for you guys, so I'm putting this blame on you, to be honest, it took me 2.5 hours start to finish on the left side with a half an hour break. So there's no reason why you can't do this install in 5 to 6 hours max, assuming that it will take you longer on the right side, which is your first time. Second time you'll know exactly what's going on. Boom, 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 done. One thing I would recommend that you guys have is one of these, or an impact gun, because it takes all the work out of taking the spindle nuts off. Those things are hard to take off, and because that's an impact gun, I think that's one of the reasons why my half shafts sort of came off the knuckle and the wheel bearing very easily, because the impact just made sure that it dislodged everything. So that's the advice I would give. And in terms of the install, apart from that, I think it was good. Yeah, you guys should be okay. Enjoy. So that was it. Not difficult at all. I think you can do this if you have the space at your house. It doesn't take long. Again, if you have any questions, any problems, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. In terms of a review of all of these, the rear end is, oh my god, it's good. Really nice. You feel super connected to the road, like, and with the prop shaft as well. Like, it's difficult to explain because it might sound silly, but all that slack, all of the jitteriness of the gearbox, all of the like what, up or down, or like, oh, what are you doing making me change gears, all of that is gone from the automatic gearbox. I think the reason is because now when the gear changes happen, they're snappy and everything remains in the parameters of the gearbox programming or whatever, so it's ready to go. Whereas before it would unsettle the car and the car would be like, whoa, whoa, what's going on? So it's just really nice to drive. There is a slight increase in noise, I would say, because of all the extra parts that I've installed, and the diff whine is even worse. So bear that in mind. I still get the diff whine from 45 to 55. Now I also get diff whine from about 70 to 75. I get a diff whine as well. So bear that in mind. If you get the same and it's your daily and you're cruising, you know, on the highway at 70, maybe you're, you know, had a long day at work, you didn't quite wear your glasses to check your speed limit on the car speedometer, maybe you're doing 75, I don't know, right? You will get a whine. You'll know when you're doing 75 and the officer tells you what speed were you doing, and if you can hear that bloody whine, you were either doing 50 or you were doing 75. So there you go. But yeah, all in all, I would recommend these mods. I think the camber arm is probably over the top. You don't need it. Yeah, I think it's worthwhile. Definitely worthwhile. The toe links are cheaper than the camber adjustable camber arms. That's why I probably wouldn't recommend the camber arms. I think that should be that's like if you got money to throw away sort of mod. I was again fortunate. Like, I bought the toe links used, barely used. I bought the camber arms new, but they were sold as used, never been on a car, and the Steeda Vertical links again lightly used. So you got to save some money, because these are not wear and tear parts. They should be fine. Yeah, any questions, let me know. Like and subscribe, whatever. I'll keep doing these videos whenever I can. Have a good day.